So what is up, guys? Soda the Savage back, and today we are here with NFL Week. Joe Montana, Len Dawson, Tyler Lockett, Lance Moore, and Ian Book. It is Week 16 predictions. Looking to watch a certain matchup. Timestamps are in the description box below, so click on that matchup if you want to watch if you're there for that. Anyways, last week I did an excellent job going 13 for 16. Man, I've been kick-ass since I've put on the Blue Jays Christmas merch, because first week I went 10 for 14. Then 13 for 14, and now 13 for 16. So apparently I can't get above 13 wins, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, got 16 more matches to get to, so without further ado, let's get this video started. So we are starting off with our final Thursday Night Football match of the season between the San Francisco 49ers and the Tennessee Titans. Could have been the possible Super Bowl 54 matchup if the Titans had the magic against the Chiefs like they did against the Ravens and the Patriots. But anyways, that's beside the point. Starting off with the 49ers, you beat the Falcons last week, 31-13. Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 235 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. So for what I'm seeing for them so far this season, I don't think he's the problem in San Francisco. I think he's a problem, but I don't think he's the worst quarterback option for you guys. But anyways, lead rusher was Jeff Wilson Jr. with 110 yards on a touchdown, followed by Deebo Samuel with 29 yards. Lead receiver, once again, George Kittle has just been breaking out in the second half of the season with 6 receptions for 93 yards. Then Deebo Samuel, 4 receptions, 60 yards, then finished off Brandon Ayuk, 1 reception for 36 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense did an excellent job at shutting down the Atlanta Falcons, especially mainly by shutting down Cordell Patterson. So credit's where credit's due, but I wish you shut down Russell Gage. That cost me in fantasy. I'm going to be whining about fantasy a lot in this video, so bear with me for that. And then the Titans, that was just a horrible collapse that you had against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3 turnovers in 10 plays in the second half. Ryan Tannehill threw for 153 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. I think he might be a bit of an issue for the Tennessee Titans. It's really been exposed once King Henry went out. Anyways, lead rush was Dante Foreman with 108 yards. Lead receiver was Westbrook, 4 receptions, 32 yards, followed by Rodgers, 4 receptions, 30 yards. And then Dante Foreman, 2 receptions, 27 yards. That was pretty much it. You had 3 fumbles and 1 pick. So 4 turnovers. That's not going to win you many football games. The defense was actually not too bad. They did give up 19 unanswered points, but in the end, come on. You held the Steelers down, but so what? Anyways, 49ers are 3-point favorites to win this one, and I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very first Saturday night matchup. We got 2 Christmas matchups this year, which is going to be awesome, as well as 5 NBA Christmas games. So, yeah. If you're a huge sports fan, Christmas is going to be a perfect day for you, but first Christmas match is going to be between the Cleveland Browns and the Green Bay Packers. Starting off with the Browns, you guys were absolutely plagued by COVID. I'm surprised the NFL even let you play, but you got pushed back to Monday night. And, starting off, you lost 16-14 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Nick Mullins, wasn't terrible. Given the scenario that he was in, I was expecting him not to do well, but he threw for 147 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was just Nick Chubb. He just carried the load with 91 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Donovan Peoples-Jones, 4 receptions, 48 yards, followed by David Njoku, 3 receptions, 29 yards, and then Rashad Higgins, 3 receptions, 24 yards. And that was it. The defense was able to keep the Raiders down for most of the game, but in the end, Daniel Carlson just completely clutched up with the Raiders. He's been their best player this year. No, I'm just kidding. For them, that could go to Derek Carr, maybe Hunter Renfrow, but that's aside the point. And then the Packers, you did end up beating the Baltimore Ravens. Was a lot closer than it should have been, considering that it was Tyler Huntley. But Aaron Rodgers threw for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And after Brady's debacle against the Saints, Rodgers is a clear front-runner for MVP now. So, yeah, it should be a fun day for him against Cleveland. Lead rusher was Aaron Jones with 58 yards, followed by A.J. Dillon with 22 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was MBS, 5 receptions, 98 yards and a touchdown. Then Devontae Adams, 6 receptions, 44 yards and a touchdown. And then Mercedes Lewis, 3 receptions, 40 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense, like I said, definitely struggled a lot against Tyler Huntley, but you were able to stop the 2-point conversion that the Ravens went for to win the game. So the Browns, they're still dealing with a plague of COVID cases. Packers are 7.5-point favorites to win this one. And yeah, Rodgers is just going to go sicko mode in this game. Give me the Packers that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next Christmas matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Arizona Cardinals, 2 teams that Bruce Arians was a huge part of because he was the quarterback's coach in 1998 to 2000, of course, the first few years of Peyton Manning, and then he got his first head coaching gig as the Arizona Cardinals, but he's with neither of these teams. Starting off the Colts, crucial victory over the Patriots. Carson Wentz didn't have to do too much. He had under 50% completion percentage, 57 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jonathan Taylor just put the team on his back, 29 carries, 170 yards, and a touchdown. So, yeah, it's good to see them do that. Lead receiver was Zach Pascal, 1 reception, 23 yards, followed by T.Y. Hilton, 1 reception, 19 yards, then Naheem Hines, 1 reception, 8 yards and a touchdown. The defense just did an excellent job at shutting down the Patriots outside of Hunter Henry. Like, yeah, you kind of showed that Mac Jones is kind of like an average quarterback, is definitely kind of carried by his team, and that Mac Jones would probably fail with any of the other teams. He was lucky that he went from the best college system to the best NFL system. And then onto the Arizona Cardinals. That was just a humiliating loss to the Detroit Lions. Kyler Murray threw for 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Lead rusher was Chase Edmonds with 53 yards, followed by James Conner. He was dealing with an ankle injury, but he could only produce 39 yards. I just needed 1 touchdown of you, man. Maybe a couple more yards. It cost me my fantasy season. But anyways, lead receiver was Christian Kirk, 6 receptions, 94 yards and a touchdown, followed by Zach Ertz, 6 receptions, 74 yards, and then AJ Green, 4 receptions, 64 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just got scored by Caleb Reynolds, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Josh Reynolds. So, yeah, there's a lot of problems with that. As the Cardinals, this season is already starting to look a little bit like last year. Hot start, Kyler gets a little bit injured at some point in the season, doesn't come back at 100% strength, and teams have completely figured out the air raid system. So that is definitely a big concern towards Cliff Kingsbury now. Cardinals are 1-point favorites to win this one, but just I'm taking the Colts here. I like them a little bit more. They've been a hotter team, so give me the Colts. And now you have our very first Sunday matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons. Rematch of Week 7 of the 2020 season where Todd Gurley accidentally scored the go-ahead touchdown just for Matt Stafford to go on a crazy game-winning drive. Anyway, starting out with the Lions, clutch victory over the Arizona Cardinals. Sure, it might have ruined your chance to get the number 1 overall pick, but hey, take it. Take a victory. I like it. Jared Goff had hit an excellent game, threw for 216 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Caleb Reynolds in the absence of DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams with 112 yards. Lead reader was Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's been breaking out the last couple games. 8 receptions, 90 yards and a touchdown, followed by Josh Reynolds with 6 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Then Khalif Raymond, 2 receptions, 20 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense was able to shut down the Arizona Cardinals in their air raid offense. And at the same time, this is the collapse that they're experiencing like they did last year. So, that kind of aided into it. But take the win. I'm happy to see it. And then the Atlanta Falcons, that was just a bad game. I know you're still contending for the playoffs, but you guys don't really deserve it. Matt Ryan threw for 236 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Mike Davis with 21 yards, followed by Matt Ryan with 20, and Cordell Patterson could only put up 18 yards. Lead receiver was Russell Gage, 6 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. That one hurts. Then Kyle Pitts, 4 receptions, 77 yards, and then Zacchaeus, 2 receptions, 53 yards. And that was pretty much it. The defense was just atrocious. Got completely scored by the San Francisco rushing game and the passing attack led by Jimmy Garoppolo. So, yeah, definitely a few concerns your way. Now, the biggest issue is that the Lions are dealing with a massive COVID case, a lot of COVID cases, mainly the big one taking down Jared Goff. So, Falcons are now 5-point favorites to win this one. I'm taking the Falcons in this one. Had Jared Goff been playing, I would have taken the Lions, but, David Blau, I just don't trust him. So, Falcons win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Classic NFC East rivalry, and also the rematch of Miracle in the Meadowlands Parts 1 and 2. Anyway, starting off with the New York Giants, you guys are screwed. Daniel Jones, they shut him down for the season with his neck injury, so you got Mike Glennon. He threw for 99 yards, no touchdowns, 3 picks. The only person who benefited from this was his wallet, because he's making $5 million for every win. Don't forget, he's only had 6 career wins, yet $30 million in career earnings. So, yeah, he's benefiting off that cash, though. But then Jake Fromm came in, threw for 82 yards. That was pretty much it. Lead rusher was Devontae Booker with 74 yards, followed by Saquon Barkley with 50. Lead receiver, the $72 million man, Kenny Golladay, 3 receptions, 53 yards, followed by Evan Ingram, 4 receptions, 33 yards. Then Saquon Barkley, 4 receptions, 24 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense actually didn't do too bad. Limited the Dallas Cowboys to only 21 points, but still, not that good. And then the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a tough start against the Washington football team, but, the ground and pound attack really benefited at the end. Starting off with Jalen Hurts, threw for 296 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but it was all in the rushing game. Lead rusher, Miles Sanders with 131 yards, followed by Jordan Howard with 69 yards. Nice. And then Jalen Hurts, 38 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And, it was all done on the ground, except for Dallas Goedert. He had 7 receptions for 135 yards, followed by Jalen Reagor, 3 receptions, 57 yards. Devontae Smith, 3 receptions, 40 yards. And then Greg Ward, 2 receptions, 28 yards and a touchdown. that was pretty much it. The defense, like I said, tough beginning against the football team, but turned it up at the end. Eagles are 10-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread because it's Mike Lennon. Now you have our very next matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets. Last year, the big thing between these two were who's going to get the first pick. Jets had it for a while, but it went to the Jags. So obviously, going to be between Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Starting out with the Jaguars, I thought, you could win your first game without Urban Meyer due to the recent trend of interim head coaches. You guys got scorched, 30-16 against the Houston Texans. Trevor Lawrence threw for 210 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was James Robinson, finally broke out since Meyer's been gone. 75 yards on a touchdown. Lead receiver was O'Shaughnessy, 4 receptions, 60 yards, followed by Laquan Treadwell, 6 receptions for 57 yards, and then Laviska Shenault Jr., 4 receptions, 39 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just got completely scorched by Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks. Definitely some problems there. Not on Brandon Cooks, but more problems that you got scorched by Davis Mills. But you guys are dealing with a massive COVID infestation of the team, so that's definitely going to be something that might hamper you this week. And then the Jets, you kept it close against the Dolphins, but just couldn't do it at the end. Zach Wilson threw for 170 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Lead rush was Tevin Coleman with 50 yards. Wilson was the only person to actually have a rushing touchdown. Lead receiver was Jamison Crowder, 5 receptions, 40 yards, followed by Robert Griffin with 2 receptions, 39 yards, and then Tyler Croft, 2 receptions, 35 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense had a decent day against the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, you got scorched by Duke Johnson Jr., Tua Tagovailoa, but you did get 2 crucial picks off them, one of them going for a pick six. So you went toe-to-toe with a really hot team, so a lot of credit out to you. Jets are only favored to win by half a point, so yeah, I'll take the Jets that they win and cover the spread. It's obvious that you cover a spread when it's only half a point. And now you have our very next matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. Starting off with the Buccaneers. I enjoyed that way too much last week. They lost 9-0 to the New Orleans Saints. Tom Brady threw for 214 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Ronald Jones was your lead rusher with 8 carries for 63 yards, followed by Leonard Fournette with 34 yards. Lead receiver was Chris Godwin, 6 receptions, 49 yards, followed by Johnson with 4 receptions, 41 yards. Then Leonard Fournette, 7 receptions, 33 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense did an excellent job last week against the Saints, except against Marquez Callaway. But honestly, I got to give a lot of credit to the defense, although you guys should have won, but your offense chose to be even worse. So, there's definitely going to be some concern with the Buccaneers because Godwin's out for the season. Evans and Fournette are also both questionable, so who knows how that's going to go. Then the Panthers, just not a good game against the Bills last week. Cam Newton threw for 156 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was also your lead rusher with 71 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Amir Abdullah, 4 receptions, 48 yards and a touchdown, followed by DJ Moore, 6 receptions, 48 yards, and then Robbie Anderson, 3 receptions, 29 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just really struggled against Josh Allen and especially Greg Davis. Those two had a lot of fun against them. The Buccaneers are 10-point favorites to win this one. Do I think they could rebound? I say yeah, because last year, both times they got humiliated by the Saints in the regular season, they followed it up with an ass-kicking against the Carolina Panthers. So yeah, give me the Bucs that they win and cover the spread. Now you have our very next matchup between the LA Chargers and the Houston Texans. Now, one thing about both these teams, both of them are dealing with massive COVID infestations. For the Chargers, it's mainly plaguing Corey Linsley, Joey Bosa, Jalen Guyton, and Austin Eckler. But for the Texans, the big one that they're missing is Brandon Cooks. And they're missing just a ton of crappy guys that keep the team together. So, yeah, both these teams are in some trouble. Starting off with the Chargers, you lost 34-28 to the Chiefs last week. Justin Herbert threw for 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Lead rush was Justin Jackson with 86 yards, followed by Austin Eckler with 59 and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Keenan Allen, 6 receptions, 78 yards and a touchdown, followed by Mike Williams, 3 receptions, 49 yards. Then Jared Cook, 3 receptions, 32 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense did an okay job at first with the Chiefs, but just got flat out exposed at the end because they got completely scorched by Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Now, a big reason also why you lost your last game was Brandon Staley's all-or-nothing game plan. Now, I don't hate him for going all or nothing, but at the same time, there were a couple times where you should have just taken the points. But much respect for his consistency. And then the Houston Texans, you did win against the Jaguars 30-16. Davis Mills, he's been doing well the past couple of weeks now. He has been aided by playing some crappy defenses, so there is that. He threw for 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Lead rusher was Rex Burkhead with 41 yards. Lead receiver was Brandon Cooks, 7 receptions, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Proven he's still got something left in the tank. Followed up with Philip Dorsett, 2 receptions, 43 yards, and then Jordan Atkins, 2 receptions, 24 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just completely locked down the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Chargers are 10-point favorites to win this one. And, yeah, both teams are dealing with massive COVID infestations. But give me the Chargers that they win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic AFC East rivalry between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. Starting off with the Bills, I did say last week you needed to have a rebound game, and the Panthers were perfect picking for that. You won 31-14. Josh Allen threw for 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Lead rusher was Devin Singletary, had a pretty solid game with 86 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Greg Davis, 5 receptions, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns, followed by Dawson Knox, 4 receptions, 38 yards, and Stephon Diggs, 4 receptions, 35 yards, and a touchdown. The defense did a good job at shutting down Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers, but to be honest, the Cam Newton experiment in Carolina has just been a complete disaster. Like, that whole quarterback room is screwed. And, you're going to be missing Cole Beasley with this game due to COVID, so that's definitely going to hurt you against the Patriots. And onto the Patriots, a tough 27-17 loss to the Indianapolis Colts. Mac Jones threw for 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Lead rusher was Rashad Stevenson with 36 yards, followed by Kendrick Bourne with 19. Lead receiver was Hunter Henry, 6 receptions, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just a good game for him. Followed up with N'Keal Harry. He actually did something for once. 2 receptions, 52 yards. And then Kendrick Bourne, 3 receptions, 44 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense, they were able to shut down the passing game, but the Colts only threw the ball 12 times because they realized, we have the superior ground game. We're going to abuse that, and that's what they did. Anyways, Patriots are 2.5-point favorites for this one, but I'm going to take the Bills in this one as long as the weather conditions are not as bad as the time these two teams played. Bills should easily win this one. And now you have our very next matchup between the LA Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. Starting off with the Rams, a key 20-10 victory over the Seattle Seahawks keeps you in contention for the NFC West crown. Starting off, Matt Stafford threw for 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. A good game for him. Followed that up, Sony Michel had 92 rushing yards. That was pretty much it. Lead receiver, once again, Cooper Kupp, just been breaking out this season. 9 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Followed up with Skowronek. Higbee was out, but he had a solid game with 4 receptions for 42 yards, and then Sony Michel, 2 receptions, 23 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense was able to clamp down the Seattle Seahawks. Chef Russ was cooking up nothing, and you just shut that down. But you did get aided with a missed PI at the end. Rams and missed PIs. They're the ones that ate off it. And then the Vikings, you won 17-9 over the Bears, but, that was just a horrible game. Kirk Cousins threw for 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Lead rush was Dalvin Cook with 89 yards. Now, Cook is going to be out of this game with COVID, so that is a huge, huge loss. So, once again, Alex Mattinson's going to have to carry the load. Lead receiver was Justin Jefferson, 4 receptions, 47 yards, and a touchdown, followed up with KJ Osborne, 3 receptions, 20 yards, and then Smith, he had 1 reception, 7 yards, and a touchdown. The defense did a good job at shutting down the Bears, but it is the Bears. It is a team led by Matt Nagy. So, it's not really surprising that you won. Rams are 3-point favorites to win this one, and, I would maybe say the Vikings would win with Cook, but give me the Rams that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals, classic AFC North rivalry. Starting off with the Ravens, wow. I did not think you would go toe-to-toe with the best team in the NFL. You lost 31-30. Tyler Huntley threw for 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was also your lead rusher with 73 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, in Lamar's absence, Tyler Huntley has actually looked pretty solid, and I am very impressed with that. Lead receiver, who else would you expect? Mark Andrews, 10 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns, followed up with Hollywood Brown, 10 receptions, 43 yards. Then Devin Duvernay with 3 receptions for 13 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense kind of struggled against the Green Bay Packers, but at the same time, it is the Packers. Their offense is elite, but the main point was, once again, down by 1 with less than a minute to go, Harbaugh decided to go for it. Now, at first, I criticized the move when it failed because I'm thinking, oh my God, looks like an idiot. When will he learn? But considering how battered their defense is and not willing to have this go to coin toss, I support Harbaugh's move a little bit more now. The thing about that is when you take a big risk like that, you'll look like a genius if it works and an idiot if it fails. So obviously that's why many people see him as an idiot, because it failed. But the analytics backed him up that he should have gone for it. Anyways, long ramble out of the way. Then the Bengals got a big victory, 15-10 over the Denver Broncos. I think you're now first in the AFC North. Joe Burrow threw for 157 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Followed that up with Joe Mixon. He ran for 58 yards. Lead receiver was Tyler Boyd, had a breakout game, 5 receptions, 96 yards and a touchdown, followed by T. Higgins, 2 receptions, 23 yards. Then C.J. Uzomah, 3 receptions, 18 yards. Jamar Chase only had 1 catch for 3 yards. So that was definitely a big reason why your offense definitely was so limited. But the defense just shut down the Denver Broncos. Yeah, Teddy did get injured during the game, and Drew Lock wasn't really much better. But in the end, big victory because you were able to win despite their strong rush game. Bengals are 3-point favorites to win this one, and even with Lamar possibly returning, I just don't like the Ravens secondary. Give me the Bengals that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very first 4 o'clock matchup, a rematch of the 2010 NFC divisional game between the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm surprised that was even the NFC divisional game because somehow the Seahawks were 7-9, won a playoff game, and lost in the divisional round. But anyways, that's besides the point. I'll start off with the Bears. It's atrocious that you're even in the NFL, especially with Matt Nagy. Justin Fields had a solid day, threw for 285 yards, 1 touchdown, and no picks, but he was just absolutely destroyed in the pocket. Lead rusher was Dave Montgomery with 60 yards. Lead receiver was Cole Kmet, 6 receptions, 71 yards. Then Darnell Mooney, 5 receptions, 63 yards. And then Damian Byrd, 5 receptions, 62 yards. And that was pretty much it. The defense did a good job against the Minnesota Vikings. Limited the rush attack, especially the air attack. But your offense is just, it's a crime to call that thing an offense that you have. And then the Seahawks, this is definitely going to be the end of the Wilson-Carroll era. Russell Wilson threw for 156 yards, no touchdown, and a pick. That pick cost me my fantasy season. I was up by 1 point. In the game, I needed only 5 points out of Russell Wilson. I was up by a point in the last minute, and then Wilson threw that in the end zone, got picked off. That's -2 points, and I lost. I hate Russell Wilson now. No, I'm just kidding. I actually do like Russell Wilson a lot, but still bitter. Lead rusher was DJ Dallas with 41 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Gerald Everett, 4 receptions, 60 yards. And then DK Metcalf, 6 receptions, 52 yards. And then Freddie Swain, 1 reception, 25 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense, did a solid job against the LA Rams, but, your offense just failed to win. Just failed to produce. And, you were stricken by COVID last week, and there's still some lingering cases going on this week. But the Seahawks are 6.5-point favorites to win this one. So, yeah, give me the Seahawks that they win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic AFC West rivalry between the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. Starting off with the Broncos, those playoff hopes are slowly slipping away, especially after a 15-10 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Teddy Bridgewater threw for 98 yards, but did end up with a concussion, got carted off the field and sent to the hospital. So why Teddy? He's been through so much in his NFL career so far, and he's lucky that he even has the spot. So, yeah, I feel bad for him. Drew Lock came in, threw for 88 yards and a touchdown, and that was pretty much it. The rush game was still pretty strong. Javonte Williams with 72 yards, followed by Melvin Gordon with 53. Lead receiver was Okwabi. I'm not going to say it because I'm totally going to botch it. 3 receptions, 58 yards, followed by Noah Fant, 5 receptions, 57 yards. And then Tim Patrick, 3 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. The defense did a pretty solid job, especially limiting guys like Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase. But in the end, both these teams were kind of stale, but, the Bengals were a little bit more fresh. And then the Raiders, lucky that you were able to pull off a victory against the Browns. I mean, lucky that you were even able to play. Derek Carr threw for 236 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Lead rush was Josh Jacobs, but followed up with Peyton Barber for 34 yards. Lead receiver was Zay Jones, 6 receptions, 67 yards, followed by Foster Moreau, 7 receptions, 65 yards, and then Josh Jacobs, 3 receptions, 42 yards. Hunter Renfrow sadly disappointed everyone with 3 receptions, 32 yards. I needed that for my fantasy team. Needed that. Because I lost by less than a point. So, like I said, I'm going to be bitching a lot about my fantasy team this game. In terms of defense, he did a good job at holding down the Browns, but, it was a Nick Mullins-led Browns. So, nothing really that impressive. And they didn't even have Jarvis Landry, so, yeah, not that impressive. But Daniel Carson, as a kicker this year, ice in the veins. Currently, there is no favorite to win this one. And I'm going to take the Raiders here because I just don't trust Drew Lock. And now you have our very next matchup, a rematch of the 2017 AFC divisional game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting off with the Steelers, how the hell did you win last week? I don't know how you are 7-6-1 I don't really think you deserve to be there, but somehow you're there. You're still alive. You're like a cockroach. You just won't die. Anyways, Ben Roethlisberger threw for 148 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Najee Harris with 18 yards. Yeah, it was just not a good game for the offense. Lead receiver was Deontay Johnson, 5 receptions, 38 yards, followed by Pat Freiermuth, 4 receptions, 37 yards, and then James Washington, 3 receptions, 36 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense did a good job against the Titans. Struggled in the first half, turned it up in the second half, and Chris Boswell just had ice in the veins. Just what a game for him. Just carried the Steelers to victory. And then the Chiefs, last week, that was a thriller against the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes was finally awoken, had an excellent game, 410 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. And at the end, he was yelling, "I'm back," but didn't take off his helmet. But if you're going to be screaming, "I'm back," you better back that up, unlike Cam Newton. Anyways, Mahomes also led rushing with 32 yards, followed by Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 32. Lead receiver was Travis Kelce, 10 receptions, 191 yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Tyreek Hill, 12 receptions, 148 yards and a touchdown, and then Byron Pringle, 3 receptions, 22 yards. So yeah, there's a huge dip off between the top 2 receivers and then the number 3 receiver. The defense struggled a little bit against the LA Chargers, but you definitely benefited off the Chargers all or nothing thinking because you got some key stops. So kudos to you. But you are going to be without Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill for this one, so that's going to be a big challenge for the offense. Chiefs are 10-point favorites to win this one, and yeah, the Steelers' magic, it's going to end. Give me the Chiefs that they win, but don't cut this. And now you have our Sunday Night Football matchup, a classic NFC East rivalry between the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys. Starting off with the football team, you guys were absolutely plagued by COVID, but put up a pretty good fight against the Philadelphia Eagles. Had a good first half, but then collapsed. Garrett Gilbert was your starter, through for 194 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Antonio Gibson with 26 yards and a touchdown, followed by Patterson with 20 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Scary Terry, 2 receptions, 51 yards, followed by Antonio Gibson, 6 receptions, 39 yards, and then Bates, 1 reception, 29 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense did a pretty solid job at first against the Philadelphia Eagles, but then failed against their ground and pound attack. But I really can't fault them for that because, it's hard to stop the Eagles when they go full rush. So, yeah. That's all I got to say. And then the Cowboys, you're lucky that you got to play Mike Glennon because you guys didn't look amazing against the New York Giants. Dak Prescott threw for 217 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Tony Pollard with 74 yards, followed by Ezekiel Elliott with 52 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was actually Dalton Schultz, 8 receptions, 67 yards and a touchdown, followed by CeeDee Lamb, 6 receptions, 50 yards, and then Michael Gallup, 3 receptions, 32 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just locked down Mike Glennon. But once again, Mike Glennon led teams, so yeah, I'm not shocked that you shut them down. Cowboys are 10.5-point favorites to win this one, and I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. Taylor Heinicke, he's coming back, so I'd say that the football team keeps it close. And now you have our Monday Night Football matchup between the Miami Dolphins and my boys in the New Orleans Saints. I'm super excited for this one. Actually, not really anymore, but I'll get to that later. Starting out with the Dolphins, you started the season 1-7, but now you're rattling off a 6-game win streak. So you beat the Jets. Tua Tagovailoa was not his best game. Threw for 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Lead rusher was Duke Johnson with 107 yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Myles Gaskin with 54 yards. Lead receiver was Devontae Parker. In the absence of Jalen Waddle, he stepped it up. 4 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Isaiah Ford, 3 receptions, 51 yards. Then Mike Gesicki, 5 receptions, 43 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense had a little bit of trouble against the New York Jets, but, in the end, pulled out the victory. Both sides made mistakes, but the Dolphins didn't bend. They did the job. And then the Saints, huge 9-0 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Taysom Hill, though, was terrible. Threw for 154 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, under 50% completion percentage. Rush game was extremely limited, even though we ran it 31 times, just got shut down by the Bucs. Taysom Hill ran for 33 yards, Kamara ran for 18, and then Ingram ran for 10. Lead receiver was Marquez Callaway, broke out, 6 receptions, 112 yards, and then Traquan Smith, 2 receptions, 17 yards, and then Kamara, 2 receptions, 13 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just locked down the Buccaneers. Yes, they lost some receivers during the game, but we locked them down. I'll take a 9-0 victory, but we are screwed because, Sean Payton, he's going to be coming back, but we're without Ryan Ramczyk, Taron Armstead, Michael Thomas, and now we're down Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian. They're on the COVID list. Ian book time, baby. My dad's a huge Notre Dame fan, so he'll be excited to see Ian Book starting. But anyways, there's currently no favorite to win this one. But of course, give me the Saints. I'm never picking against the Saints. I say the Saints win here. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to watch my Bucs and Saints recap, click right over here. If you like this video, drop a like. Subscribe to my channel by clicking over here or the box down below. It will mean a whole lot to me. Comment down below what you have for this week. Who's your lock of the week, upset of the week, and is your favorite team going to win? Do you think Ian Book's going to succeed against the Miami Dolphins? Make sure to follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, @BurnSuiter. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays out to everyone. Who Dat Nation in the Blue Jays Christmas merch, because I've done so well in this, is